This is Town Square Sunday on demand. And now, 1420 WBSM's Jim Phillips.
And we're back on Town Square Sunday. We frequently meet with representatives from the United Way of Greater New Bedford to speak about their many programs. The United Way's Sarah Rose joins us this morning to tell us about the Changemaker Grants. Sarah, good morning.
Good morning, Jim. Thanks for having me on.
Our pleasure. How long have you been involved with the Changemaker Grant program?
I joined the United Way last January, and I've been involved since the beginning.
Okay. So, folks probably remember the term Changemaker Grants, but for those who don't know what that program is all about, what is a Changemaker Grant?
Sure. That's a good place to start. Thank you. United Way really believes in the capacity of volunteers to help communities in a variety of ways. And we sort of capitalize on that through things like our Day of Caring, where hundreds of volunteers go out into the community to do good work, or our Hunger Heroes, where we're providing families with Thanksgiving meals, or food insecure students with food during the April vacation weeks. We also have something called Volunteer South Coast right on our website. So volunteers can go and look at volunteer opportunities throughout our region using that source. And so the Changemaker Grant is another way for the United Way to really empower volunteers to work in our community. It allows volunteers of just 3 or more to get together, see a community need, and be able to apply for up to $2,500 to help on a grassroots level make changes within the community.
Okay, and we're not talking necessarily about big changes, although a small change could lead to a big change. We're talking about small things that can impact your neighborhood or the wider community, for sure. And the key word here, and you probably didn't use collaboration, but the key word is to have 3 or 4 people come together and work together on an idea and then apply. Is that it?
That's it. Yeah, it's that simple. We know that there are a lot of community efforts. This grant has been in existence since 1995. Right. So the United Way now has a very long history of watching some projects that are just collaborators, neighbors, friends who come together and they want to solve something that can be solved sort of over the course of, say, 6 to 12 months. But other projects and the use of these Changemaker grants are for bigger collaborations where they're looking for this grant to participate in some small way in a much bigger effort.
Okay. How many grants does the United Way award each year?
So that really varies. Last year we awarded 13. I think the year before that it might have been 14, but we've had upwards of 20 grants awarded. It really varies from year to year.
All right. And again, the grant, it's not a huge monetary grant, but they're small, $2,500, as you heard Sarah say, but the goal with this is to use that money to improve, come up with an idea that is a little special, that can work to improve your neighborhood, your community, heck, maybe something on your street that needs to be done. So it's a chance for people to work together, offer ideas, and then, of course, apply for these grants. Are you, I know your open, application period is open pretty soon. Is that right?
Yes, it's coming up. We have 2 info sessions, Jim. One is February 12th, so that's next week at 4 p.m. And the second one is February 13th at 6 p.m. So there are virtual sessions. You just go onto our site, unitedwayofgmb.org, and sign up, and we'll send you the link to the virtual session. And then the RFP, the request for proposal, opens on February 14th. So it's all happening next week.
All right. So there you go. It is clear that, you probably should have been thinking about this already. But if you have a group of people, neighbors, friends, you can get working on this. And again, as Sarah has mentioned, there are 2 Zoom sessions. I call them Zoom. They're really not Zoom. I guess you go on the website and they're there, more or less. But anyway, that's there for you to give you an idea of just what the program is all about. Is there a group of staffers that make decisions on these grants, or You bring in other people. How does it work?
Yeah, we at the United Way don't make the decisions. We have a citizens review committee that's comprised of people from our community, and we get to know them in a variety of ways. Some of them are funders who work for other organizations and know sort of the nonprofit space in our region really well. Some of them are people who are volunteered for us in other capacities, like through our mobile markets, or they're involved in partners for foster care. There's a variety of ways people come to us and are invited to be on the Citizens Review Committee. And that committee looks at all the requests and makes the decisions about who gets funded and at what level they get funded.
Okay. You're listening to Town Square Sunday. I'm Jim Phillips. My guest is Sarah Rose of the United Way of Greater New Bedford, and we're talking about the Changemaker Grants. Okay, so the application process begins on February 14th. And how long will that go?
Sure. So the proposals are due by March 22nd. So there's quite a bit of time to be talking to your neighbors and your friends and to come up with a really solid proposal.
And then after March 22nd, how long will it take before you find out whether your project is funded? Sure.
We'll notify people the week of May 6th. So you'll know before summer if you have funding to do your project.
I understand these sessions that are going to be held on, refresh my memory, 12th and 13th?
Exactly.
Okay. And what is going to be presented?
So I will go through the history of the Changemaker Grants, the criteria for applying for the grants, and I'll give some examples of past grants that have been funded to try and give people a better understanding of what exactly would be a good proposal. And people are really encouraged after the info sessions to reach out to me, via phone or email and ask follow-up questions. I'm really happy to work with groups of people to put the proposals together.
Okay, without being too specific here, but what makes a good proposal?
Yeah, so we have seen a variety of proposals. Obviously, we're looking to build capacity, so something that is a group of people doing something that's going to benefit a lot of other people. That is kind of a neat idea. I can give you kind of some examples of past Changemaker grants. We have funded something called Walt's Mobile Closet, and they bring racks and tables to community centers, to shelters, to community places, and they put out clothing and toiletries and shoes, and then they invite families to come and get what they need. So that's a small group of volunteers doing, exponential work in the community. There are Operation Clean Sweep, which is a group of volunteers that are in an anti-litter campaign, and they are cleaning parks and beaches through work with the Changemaker Grant and others. So another great part of a grant is if this is part of a larger effort. New Bedford Community Rowing Center last year applied for a grant. They had bought dragon boats, and they were having students at Greater New Bedford Vocational Regional Technical High School restore those boats, and they needed life preservers so that people who were out in the water would be safe. And the Changemaker grants were able to provide some of the life preservers. So things like that, where it's part of a bigger effort, and it really will have deep community impact.
So those are some of the examples, I think, that, folks, if they really think about this, and it doesn't have to be necessarily an organization. It can be, again, 4, 5 free neighbors, the people who just share a common desire to see something change.
That is a really good point, Jim. You do not have to be a 501c3, federally recognized nonprofit organization. It can literally be 3 people with a great idea.
Yeah. And that's what the United Way is looking for. They given away as many as 20 grants last year, 13 or so, 14, whatever it was. But if you have a good idea, the United Way is a good place to start to get it funded. And, out of a small idea, some great things can happen, clearly. Can you give us an idea about some of the winning projects? Now, you mentioned a few already,
Sure.
So I'm not going to tax you here, but
yeah.
Give us an idea about some of the projects that win.
Yeah, and I'll start off by saying, the United Way is able to do this and all of the other grants we provide in the community. This is one of our smaller grants because of donors and people throughout the region who work for local companies, and they participate in something called our workplace campaign. So these are employees who agree to give as little as $5 to $10 a paycheck, and that money is collected throughout the region, and it ends up being a really significant amount of money for the United Way to be able to invest back into the community. And we're able to do that because of our workplace campaigns and lots of people who believe that these are really good ways to, invest money into the community. Mm-hmm. Some of the projects that have been successful is something like Grow Greater New Bedford. And it is a garden project. They bring gardens into communities and they build these raised bed gardens, and they teach about gardening and sustainability and food supply and important nutritional information. Buy Black New Bedford has been a recipient of the Changemaker Grants. They are a group, a community resource. It's based in New Bedford, and it serves Black-owned businesses.
We just met one of those Black-owned businesses earlier in the show.
Oh, great!
Brown Sugar Stationery, who has, she had help from Buy Black New Bedford.
Oh,
then
wonderful!
New Bedford 100 with the EDC. And now, $25,000 grant from the Boston Celtics Shamrock Foundation and other entities. So it's been a great ride for her. Jaden Texera is her name. She was on earlier. But that's what I mean. I mean, small ideas can bring about some great things. And I know that Buy Black New Bedford is encouraging owners of Black-owned businesses to get moving. Yeah, raise money and do the kind of investment or acquire the kind of investment that can help them, propel them really to a successful business.
And some of those smaller businesses may be qualified for the Changemaker Grant.
Sure.
A really great example is Youth Opportunities Unlimited, YOU. That was once called Trips for Kids. And that was a Changemaker Grant. But now that organization is big enough that it qualifies for our community impact grants, which are grants up to $25,000. So they've moved from one funding source to another because of their growth and success.
That's wonderful. That really is. Sarah, is there anything else we can add about Changemaker except to emphasize the dates again? The 12th and 13th. If you go to the website, United Way website, there's be a couple of briefings, if you will, about this program, how you can get involved, what it's about, a general outline of the program, and there'll be, give us a time for those.
Sure. The 12th, it's at 4 p.m., and on the 13th, it's at 6 p.m.
Okay, so
trying to get people after work when it's convenient for them.
And so there you go. There's information available for you online, and then the application period opens the next day on the 14th.
Exactly.
So, but you have a period of time well into March.
March 22nd.
March 22nd to get your application together, talk about it with friends and neighbors or coworkers or whatever, and go from there. So it's a pretty exciting process. Again, not a lot of money, but $2,500. You can do a lot with $2,500.
Well, and Jim, it all adds up because since 1995, the United Way has given away more than $1 million in our Changemaker Grant. So these little bits all add up.
So it's, again, a wonderful program. We've had either Victoria or others, and now Sarah, talking about Changemaker programs over the years. And it involves just some people coming together, collaborating to come up with a good idea to improve your neighborhood, your street, and maybe even your city. So it really is a terrific idea. And if you want to get involved, again, 12th and 13th, the videos available, the instruction videos, if you will, on the website, United Way website. And then the 14th, the application period begins.
That's terrific. Yeah, go on to the Red's website and you can register for the virtual sessions, and we'll send you a link to it.
There you go. My thanks to Sarah Rose of the United Way for coming in, chatting with us about the Changemaker Grant program. good luck with this, Sarah. Hope you have a lot of interesting applicants.
Thanks, Jim. Really appreciate your help.
That's it for Town Square Sunday. Thanks for listening. Thanks also to Mike Roberts and Tim Weisberg for helping getting this program on the air and on our social media platforms. I'm Jim Phillips. Join me next week for Town Square Sunday. Until then, have a great Sunday and a wonderful week ahead.